The drug dealer had been bound to a bed for a year. His skin was extensively ulcerated, his body covered in festering sores. The entire room reeked of a pungent stench. His right hand and tongue had been severed, his body mummified. Most shocking of all, the man was still alive. Police immediately called an ambulance and rushed him to the hospital. The doctor informed Detective Musk that this was the most extreme case he'd ever encountered in his career. The dealer had survived this long only because the perpetrator administered drugs daily, but having missed the optimal treatment window, he wouldn't survive the night. Musk instantly realized this wasn't ordinary torture. It was the killer's open provocation against the police. This drug dealer had been arrested before, yet through a lawyer's maneuvering, secured a year of freedom. The police had tracked him down again, because prior to this, that lawyer had been brutally murdered. The killer had cut flesh from the lawyer's body, placed it on a scale, then drained every drop of blood from his veins. On the floor, he wrote a single word: greed. A clear fingerprint was left at the scene, the exact fingerprint from the drug dealer's severed right hand. Everyone understood. The killer was deliberately guiding the investigation, mocking the police's incompetence. He showcased his work. At the drug dealer's bedside, police discovered another word: sloth. Musk immediately realized. These words weren't random. They corresponded precisely to the 7 deadly sins of Catholicism. The drug dealer craved easy gains, seeking quick money through crime. This perfectly matched the sin of sloth. Thus, the killer bound him to the bed for a full year, forcing him to endure the prison sentence he deserved. As for the lawyer who accepted bribes to exonerate criminals, his crime corresponded to the sin of greed. The killer cut off his flesh as a homage to the story of debt repayment. Through flesh in The Merchant of Venice, if this deduction was correct, 5 more victims will follow, each corresponding to the remaining sins. Upon this realization, Musk immediately launched an investigation with Officer Dillon, yet both were perplexed. The killer's sequence defied personal connections. For before the drug dealer and lawyer, an even more bizarre murder had occurred. Police discovered an obese man dead at home, his face pressed into a rice bowl, hands and feet bound tightly with wire. Apart from bruising at the back of his head, no fatal wounds were visible on his body. The corpse was sent for autopsy. The coroner removed an abnormally distended stomach. Doctors confirmed the victim's stomach and intestines had ruptured completely. Extensive internal bleeding occurred. Combined with the injury at the back of his head, Musk deduced the killer had threatened him with a gun, forcing him to eat continuously for 12 hours until death. But the police at the time failed to grasp the true motive behind this case. They dismissed it as a brutal murder until days later, 2 more cases emerged in succession. At the scenes, police discovered the words sloth and greed. Musk immediately returned to the obese man's residence to reinvestigate. This time, he finally discovered a 3rd word at the scene: gluttony. This man had indulged his appetite throughout his life, living in utter chaos. Gluttony was precisely his corresponding original sin, Musk finally confirmed. This was a serial murder case following the pattern of the 7 deadly sins. The police immediately headed to the National Intelligence Center. They screened all individuals connected to religion and the 7 deadly sins. Soon, a suspect emerged. The pair arrived at the suspect's residence for a door-to-door investigation. Suddenly, a man emerged from the stairwell and fired a shot. The 2 reacted swiftly, narrowly dodging the bullet. The killer fled amidst the chaos. Dillon immediately gave chase, only to be knocked down by an iron bar outside. As he struggled to rise, a gun barrel was already pressed against his temple. Dillon thought his end had come, but the killer abruptly holstered the weapon and vanished into the night. By the time Musk arrived, the scene was deserted. Police re-entered the suspect's home for another search. They found the severed right hand. The true identity of the killer was now confirmed. Just as police were discussing their next move, the phone rang. Dillon answered. The killer's voice came through the line. He told Dillon that since the police were now on his trail, he would accelerate his crimes. But based on evidence from the scene, the police had also identified the next victim. Dillon rushed to the bar where the target was located. As he pushed open the door to the private room, a single, enormous word caught his eye: lust. Inside the room lay the body of a prostitute. Dillon had arrived too late. The killer had held a client at gunpoint and murdered her in an extremely brutal manner.